is up, you guys? It's Aisling. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video I've never done before, which is a palette declutter video. I'm so excited to do this video. I'm also very apprehensive about it because I am a hoarder at heart. I really am. I feel like I need everything and I feel like I have to hold on to everything. But in the last couple of months, I've really changed my ways, especially since lockdown. I've gotten rid of things I don't need, donated things, given things to other people in my life that probably would benefit and use them a bit more. So today I'm going to be decluttering palettes. I will talk when I'm talking about each individual palette. I'll show you the inside of it. Today I'm just going to do my neutral palettes. I have my colourful palettes coming up, so keep an eye out for that. Sorry, my hair looks like a hot mess today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every palette for you. The reason why I split it into two is so that I can do that. I want to discuss kind of like why I'm throwing them out. So I will be donating these, sterilising them obviously before I donate them, or throwing out anything that's just really old and I know it's old and used. So I have no idea what I'm going to discover when I go through these palettes. Bear in mind that this has been a long time coming. It's definitely going to take me a bit of time to get to grips with decluttering them, but I need to do it. It's good. It's good to declutter. It feels good. If you guys are interested in that video, then let's kick it off. To start off, we're going to go through these drawers. I'm going to actually pull out what is neutral and what's not. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to go through this one first because there's a lot of stuff in here. So I don't know where this falls into what category, but I suppose I'll just put it into like a neutral pile. This is the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2. That's definitely colourful. So I'll put that beside it. The Identity palette, I'm going to take a bit of time to actually go through each one of these and sort out which is colourful and which is neutral. This one I would consider more of like a colourful because there's a couple of pops in there. It definitely looks a bit more colourful than completely neutral. I'm sorry if everything's not completely and utterly neutral, there might be a couple of pops in there, but you guys kind of get the gist of where I'm going with. I would classify that as neutral as well. So I'm going to do that right now and then I will do the actual proper decluttering. So I need to sort out what's neutral and what's not. So these are all the neutral palettes that I found in my drawers, and these are the ones that I'm going to start off with decluttering, and I'm going to put everything out in the landing to start off. Okay guys, this is what we've got when it comes to neutral palettes, and like I said, some of these might have pops of red or little bits of colour in them, but they are majority of my neutral palette. It's a lot. Nobody needs this many eyeshadow palettes, and I'm sure I have doubles and quadruples of some shades in here. So let's kick this off. Right, so I'm going to start with the palette in the middle there, the Jaclyn Hill palette, which looks like this on the inside. I'm sure you guys are very well aware of what it looks like. I will be holding on to this. It's one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes ever. And this eyeshadow palette I think is about 2 or 3 years old. I don't care. I use it quite regularly. And I will be holding on to this for sure. The Origin palette is another palette that I'll be holding on to. This is from Beauty Bay. It's a super affordable palette, really big. But I use this so often. Definitely monthly I would be picking this up. So I will only keep things that I know I'm going to use and I know I'm going to wear. This is the Coloured Rain palette, guys. I went absolutely crazy for this palette a couple of years ago. I picked it up and I just never really reached for it. And it makes me sad because it's so pretty. I think I'm going to hold on to this for now, and then once I do a declutter again, which will probably be in another 6 months, or a year maybe. If it's still in my collection and I haven't picked it up, then it's time for it to go. But I just feel like I just didn't really give it much of a chance, so maybe we'll hold on to it. Next up here I have this chocolate bar palette from Makeup Revolution. 1,000,000% I'm going to be getting rid of this. I have this Hello New York palette from Essence. Again, oops, I'm after nicking it. I don't really use it that often. I would consider this more of a colourful palette than a neutral palette, so my bad on that one, but I'm going to be decluttering this. This is the 50th anniversary from Penny's palette. I did a video on this, really liked it, but I don't have any use for it. So Declutter PS Nudes Basics eyeshadow palette from Penny's. Again, really pretty kind of basic palette, but I don't use it, so it's time for it to go. I have this eyeshadow palette, the Velvet Rose palette from Makeup Revolution. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I do quite like it, and I have worn it. Do you know what? I might hang on to it for now because I feel like, again, I haven't given it that much of a use. I only actually bought it this year, maybe around March, so we'll just hang on to her for now. This is the Kylie Cosmetics Burgundy palette. I don't know about this one, whether I should keep it or not. I don't really like Kylie Cosmetics. However, I do like the handiness of this. It's quite convenient. It's small. Maybe I'll put it in the maybe pile for now. But I'm not, like, I don't reach for it that often. But it is a lovely, quite a compact palette. Like something you'd bring away with you. So I don't know, I'll keep it over here for now. The Naked Reloaded palette, 1,000,000% I'm hanging on to this. I love this palette. It's my favourite Urban Decay palette that they've ever come out with. I just use it quite a lot. It's really, really great, and I pick this up often, so I'm going to hang on to that. I have a Charlotte Tilbury palette. I only got sent this year. I really like it. The shades in it are quite pretty. They're real romantic. It came out in February for Valentine's. So I'm going to hold on to this because it's so pretty, and I have used it a good few times, and I feel like there's still a little bit of love for me for this. The dupe for the Sweet Peach palette, and it looks like that. It's from Makeup Revolution. I don't use it, so goodbye. Next up, I have the Huda Beauty Mauve palette. I love the shades in this. I think they're so pretty. However, as I've used this like from the first time, I think it just never really performed in my eyes. It never looked nice. I don't know, I wasted money on it. I'm never going to use it, so it's been decluttered. So Sigma brought out this Wildflower palette, which looks really pretty. There's like a couple of neutral shades and blushes in it. I don't pick it up, so goodbye. Next up, I've got a Makeup Revolution palette. This is a dupe for the Naked 3. Oops. We had a good lot of love with this palette. I did use it quite a lot, but I don't reach for it anymore, so I'm decluttering. The Inglot Love palette. I have a love-hate relationship with my Inglot palettes. I just feel like there's so many. Do you know what? Actually, I'm gonna leave them all to the end. I have a few of them, and I think if I leave them till the end, I'll be able to narrow it down. The love-hate relationship I have with them is just that I feel like I don't reach for them, but there are some amazing colours in the palettes, and I just don't know what I'm doing, like, with them. I really don't know. So I have a few neutrals of them there I'm going to hang on to for a second, and then we'll talk about them at the end. Next up, I have the Sigma's Warm Neutral Palette 2, which looks like this. It is so pretty. I used it this morning. I use this quite a lot. I will be definitely hanging on to this. I really, really, really love this. Actually, one of my favourite palettes, and it's quite underrated. Not that many people talk about it, and I really enjoy it. So we'll keep in that. Natasha Denona palette I have here. This was sent to me in Pure. It's the only Natasha Denona palette I have. I absolutely love the colours in it. I'm going to be hanging on to it. I say it's more neutral because if you just take out those kind of colours there, it is basically a neutral palette. Actually, it's like mostly like those two. Like, there's not really that many kind of colours in it. Very, very, very pigmented. Really, really, really nice to blend and wear in the eyes. I like it, so I'm going to hold on to that. However, I did get this Alter Ego palette, which is basically a dupe for it. And I don't need it. I don't need two of the same palettes. These palettes are really, really good. Great dupes. Highly recommend this brand, Alter Ego, if you do want to get a couple of dupes. But I already have something that looks like this, so we're going to get rid. Oh, I feel so much better already. This is a tough one for me. The Modern Renaissance palette. It's been much loved. You can kind of see that now. I don't know how I feel about this palette because I don't reach for it that much, but it's more of like a nostalgic hoarder that's inside me that wants to hold on to it. I'm kind of like, maybe we'll keep it. I think as I'm decluttering, I might get a bit more confident in throwing this out. For now, I'm going to put it in the maybe pile with that Kylie Cosmetics palette, and we'll talk about it later. I know for certain I'm going to keep the Kylie Bible palette because I only got it last year, and I am obsessed with these shades, these purples in it. They're just so pretty. I actually really like this palette. It didn't get great reviews online. However, I find that I reach for it quite a lot, especially when I'm looking for like a purple shade. It's actually a palette that I would reach into for purple shadows, so I will be keeping that. I'm missing one Anastasia Beverly Hills palette over in my boyfriend's house because I use it all the time. It's the Soft Glam palette, so that's not here. So just in case you're wondering why I'm not including that in this declutter, it's actually not around, but I will be hanging on to it anyway. Shade and Light Eye. Oh, do I need this? Do I wear this? No. Okay, I think, oh, will I declutter it? I know I'm definitely going to declutter the dupe of it because I don't use it either. But do I need this one? Why am I struggling with this? I'm really, really struggling. I have a million palettes that look like this, so no, we're going to get rid of it. Declutter. Declutter. The Sahara palette was sent out to me from Alter Ego as well. I've never even used it. Never even touched it. I don't know, will I ever touch it? So maybe it might be best given to somebody who might use it. I just don't know about it. I don't even know what it's a dupe for. It's really pretty and it looks great and everything, but it's just sitting there, not getting any use. So maybe it's time for declutter. I have another Alter Ego Temptress palette. To be fair, I don't use this really at all, ever. So I have the Sultry palette, which is a dupe for it, and I use that one a lot more, so I'm going to declutter this. Another Revolution palette. This, I feel like it was an Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette dupe. Never even dipped into it. Like, it looks pretty much brand new, so my little cousins are going to love this, so that's going to them. I have no idea what this even is. I feel like this was never even opened, but perhaps it was it? I don't even know. I've never used it. So we're getting rid of that also because it's just been sitting there, and if I haven't used it in this long, I'm definitely not going to pick it up now. So much better already, guys. We're making great progress. I'm just going to move all these kind of closer to me. Okay, next up, ooh, trying to get comfy. Next up we have this Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I loved this palette when I got it first. Really, really enjoyed wearing it, but I think it's had its day in the sun and it's basically ready to be decluttered. Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. Oh, guys, the nostalgia of it. It's just one of the OG palettes. One of the best palettes of its time in my humble opinion. I really liked it. I wore this quite a lot. I particularly loved this shade down here, Cherry Cordial. It still smells real chocolatey, but I haven't reached for this in so long. It's time for it to go. I also have the same kind of feeling about the Semi-Sweet. Don't use it, don't pick it up, never kind of dip into it. I feel like I shouldn't keep both, but now I kind of want one, and they both smell absolutely gorgeous. No, look, do you know what? I haven't used either of them in about 2 years, so goodbye. The Sweet Peach palette, I actually love this palette. I still use this palette quite a lot. I know it's an old palette, but that doesn't stop me using it. I still really, really like it. It's particularly luscious. I love Georgia, Peaches and Cream, Puree, Summer Rum. I like this palette. I think I'll be hanging on to that one. The Balm of Your Hand, Volume 2. Looks like this. It kind of has some blushes. It's from TheBalm. It's really, really nice. But I'm going to declutter. I don't need this. Now, the Carly Bybel palette. I will be 1,000,000% decluttering this one because I never use it, never pick it up. I haven't seen it in the longest time. You know, the kind of way, like if I haven't looked for it, reached for it, wanted it, it needs to go. It was great, loved it, but no, goodbye. I also have the second one here, which is the Deluxe Edition. Again, same feelings about this palette. I don't reach for it, don't look for it, haven't used it in the longest time ever. Don't really like the eyeshadows, actually, to be fair. The quality of them is very subpar. I loved it for its time, but I think my tastes in eyeshadows have changed. I do like a good quality eyeshadow now. Something, you know, that I'm going to pick up time and time again, whereas I find these just a little bit powdery for me now. I won't be using them. Ah, the good old Jaclyn Hill Vault palettes. This one here is in... which one is this? Armed and Gorgeous. Sorry, that's what that one's called. Gorgeous shades. Absolutely beautiful. So bright, so pigmented. Oh dear God, look at my hands. I need to clean them. So it is a really great palette. I liked it. Everybody kind of gave out about it. I found it patchy. I actually really liked this palette, but I'm going to declutter it because I don't need it. I'm going to give it to Jenna. Actually, she might benefit from that because there's really nice shades in there and she's got gorgeous green eyes. So maybe some of them shades might bring out her green eyes. So I'll give that to Jenna. I think it's time to have a chat about the Naked 1, 2 and 3 palettes. The Naked Urban Decay palette, OG fave of mine, loved it so much, especially that shade Dark Horse. I wore that shade out. I had to buy it in a single pan. I was obsessed with this, but I think it's had its day in the sun, very well and truly had its day. Same with the Naked 2, loved it so much, but I don't reach for this, never look for it, never kind of want to have it. And then the Naked 3, this is more of the, so the original was kind of like more neutral, and then we have a cool tone, then this was more of like a rose gold. I love this, it's gorgeous. You can see I've hit pan on one of the shades. Very, very gorgeous palette for its time. But 1, 2 and 3, I think it's time for yous to go. I love yous, but no, we've moved on from this. This is the Huda Beauty Warm Brown Obsession palette. I do quite like a little palette like this. Kind of my issue with the Kylie Jenner palette. Actually, are they very similar? Because if they are, maybe I'll get rid of the Kylie one and I'll just keep the Huda Beauty one. I don't know. I can't even remember the quality of the Kylie one. See, I'm struggling here. But I just love a little compact palette like that. I just feel like it's just great for travel. I do like the Warm Obsession, so I'm going to be 1,000,000% hanging on to this because I even use it. Like, I think I used it maybe about a month ago. Like, so I do still use it. Makeup Revolution. This is the Chocolate Bar Dupe palette. Not going to keep that either. Gonna donate. The Maneater palette. Again, I love my little compact palettes. Use it all the time. Smells like chocolate, delicious. I still wear it. I wore it even a week ago, so I will be keeping that palette for sure. Makeup Revolution, this is the Reloaded Neutrals 2 palette. I've had this so long, and I did a whole video on them. Great, they're very pigmented. They're €4 palettes, which is excellent, but I haven't used it, reached for it, or wanted it in the longest time, so Declutter. This is another Essence palette. I do like having Essence palettes if I do an Essence One Bar tutorial, but this is very old. I don't think you can even get it anymore, so my cousins will like this, so I'm going to donate that. This is the Nightlife palette from Sigma by Camille Coelho. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that girl's name. I butchered it. This is about the only shade in this entire palette that I like, and I think I have a single shadow of it. As in, like, I just found it so unique. Like, it's just gorgeous. I really liked that purple shade. I was really into those purples, but I don't reach for this, so I'm donating that. I've got a Sleek palette here, which I don't think I've ever used. I don't think I ever will use, so we're donating that also. A Catrice palette. Again, I don't really use these palettes that often. I don't dip into them. I don't look for them, so donating. Do you know what? I'm going to leave all the Morphe palettes to the end as well, so I can go through them. Next up, we have another Huda Beauty Curl Obsession palette. Love this. Now, this palette is just gorgeous, isn't it? Like, look at the colors in it. It's so pretty. I'm 1,000,000% going to hold on to it. I love this shade up here. I just think there's something gorgeous about it, and this orange tone down here, they're just so pretty. Actually, they look quite similar, but actually on the eye, they're very different. They're so pretty. I love them. This is a great palette, so I will be holding on to that. Sultry palette. I love this palette. Gonna hold on to it. Raved about it. Did a whole review on it. Still obsessed with it. Still wear it. Yep, you're staying with me, Sultry. Charlotte Tilbury palette. It's gorgeous, really pretty, and gorgeous colors in it. Look at that green, absolutely stunning. The blue, the brown, the quality of these shades is just phenomenal. And like, they just work like a dream on the eye. I cannot deny how great they are. So maybe Jenna might like that palette as well, because I'm not going to use it, so I'll give it to her. Next up, I've got the Samarian by Juvia's Place palette. Gorgeous palette, looks lovely. The pigmentation of these shadows is by far one of the best, but I haven't reached for this ever, I don't think, so I'm going to donate that. And next up, I have this Pippa palette from Blank Canvas. I stopped supporting Blank Canvas years ago. I had this is like a little tidbit, but I bought products from them on their Black Friday a couple of years ago, and they kept ignoring all of my emails, wouldn't respond to me. They had lost my package. I contacted them directly via email, and then I got onto their PR through my email, as in my Dramaticmac email, and they responded immediately and sent me out my packages along with like a little like a little sorry note, and I just didn't like that. Coming as a customer, they had no time for me, but as a blogger, they had time for me, so I don't support them, so I will be donating this. Pippa is actually an Irish blogger, she's lovely, but I just can't support that brand. Oh, the Pro palette from Catrice, love this, 1,000,000% hanging on to this. The shades in it are gorgeous, I wear it quite a lot, it does get a bit of love, so I'm gonna hang on to that. This is an Essence palette, which looks like this. It's called My Little Copper palette. I got this last year. I want to hang on to it because if I do affordable eyeshadow looks, I want to have something, and I don't think I've kept anything affordable other than that Catrice one and one Make a Revolution one, so I might hang on to this as well. Then I have these 3 palettes from TheBalm. So this is Meet Matador, and it looks, oops, it looks like that on the inside. Really nice colours, really big pans. But no, not going to be wearing it anytime soon, so we're going to declutter. This is the Meet Matte Nude palette. Oops. Ooh, why can't I open this? Looks like that on the inside. Again, lovely palette, but I'm just not going to use it, so we're going to declutter. And then this is the Meet Matte Shmaker. Looks like that. Has 2 little colours in there. No, never going to use it, so I'm going to donate that also. Next up I have this Sigma palette, which is called the Warm Neutrals. This is their OG palette. I actually think that this palette is gorgeous, but I very rarely use it. I think this is the only shade that I was really crazy about in it, which is a gorgeous shade, to be fair. But I just don't wear enough of the shades in it to warrant keeping it, so I think I'm going to donate it. I hate that I love this shade so much because I'm literally trying to keep the whole palette just for that one shade, so I'm just going to try and get that in single form, and we're going to donate that one. Then I've got the Revolution palette. This, it looks like that. It was quite similar to the Modern Renaissance palette. I did a whole dupe video on it, but I don't use it anymore, so we're donating that also. Got a Sleek palette here, which looks like that. Oh my god, I feel like this was one of my very first palettes on YouTube. That's probably why I still have it. It's the Oh So Special palette. I'm not even going to donate that. I'm going to bin that because I just don't think it's worth it. Some of the palettes I'll go through again myself and see what is really like needs to be binned and what can be donated, because some of them might like just smell a bit off or something. Then I have this MUA palette. I'm actually going to dump this as well because I just don't think it's even worth donating. It's really bad quality. I wouldn't give this to anybody. It's just really, really difficult to use. Just appalling quality, so that's going. And then I've got this Aurora palette, which I don't think I've ever used. This again is from that Alter Ego brand. I think I got this at Christmas time. Yeah, I did. Look at it, it's gorgeous. Never used it. Beautiful colors in it. I'm gonna hang on to this and maybe try and do a look with it because it is so pretty. So we're gonna hang on to that and yeah, keep that one for a tutorial. Now I've got all these single palettes. I have my MAC one here, which, believe it or not, I still use. It's particularly these brown shades. But I need to do a whole video on single shadows, I think. I think that's going to be a separate thing. So I'm going to hang on to all these colours, all these palettes for now. Oh, that one's falling apart. I'm going to hang on to these palettes for now and do a single shadow declutter video. Try and get rid of all the single shadows and just get them into one Z palette, I think. But I do love some of these colours and I would wear them quite a lot, but it's just the palette's a bit overwhelming. Like this one's broke. These are all Makeup Geek, Makeup Geek, Makeup Geek and MAC. I have them a while, but to be fair, they're powders. They're probably not going to expire, and I just want to kind of keep the colours that I really, really like and get rid of the ones that I'm never going to wear, and then just kind of have like one compact palette with them all in it, MAC and Makeup Geek. I've got my neutral Morphe palette. So I think I have into, oh sorry, I have one little palette left here, the e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette, donate. So these are my Morphe neutral palettes. I don't particularly use my Morphe palettes as much these days, but I'm gonna try and like whittle them down and get rid of them. You can see they still have the old symbol on them. They're very, very old, but we're gonna see what's in them and what I can use and what I'd get rid of. So the first thing here is the Morphe Kathleen lights rather. Sorry, Kathleen. This is her palette that she came out with Morphe. I don't use it and I haven't reached for it in a long time. It's a very pretty palette and I actually loved this palette at one stage, but again, I don't reach for it, so I'm gonna donate that. Next up here is one of the newer Morphe palettes. Ugh. This is the 3502 palette. Oops. Let's look at it there. So this palette does get a lot of love. I wear this quite a lot. You can see that the black has smashed on me. That's why I covered it with this sticky thing, just to come around and actually press it back in. I still haven't gotten time to do it. I love this palette, so I will hang on to this one. And then I have this Morphe palette, which is the 35D palette. I wouldn't say that's necessarily neutral. That can actually be put in with the colourful ones, so I'll declutter that at a later time rather. So next I've got the 35O palette, which looks like this. Much love. I don't think I've reached for it in a very long time. It has some very pretty shades in it. Give me a sec. I'll come back to that one in 1 second. I'll do the 35K palette first, which looks like that. Very neutral, black in it. Nothing too exciting. I'm going to donate that one. This Morphe JH. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette. This is her very first palette. My god, I can't open it. Does anybody remember this palette? So pretty. I really liked this palette. I used it quite a lot. It got a lot of love from me. I don't use it anymore, and I don't think I'd ever pick it up, so I think I'm going to donate this. And then the final palette is the 35T palette, which is more of like a taupey palette, which looks like this. Gorgeous again. Don't use it, so donating it. I hate trying to make decisions about this. Do I want this? Do I not? I think I'm going to hold on to it, and then next time I go to declutter, if it's still in my collection, then it's getting the bin. But I don't know what to do with it. The Modern Renaissance palette, I can't bring myself to declutter it. I'm going to hang on to it, I think, for now. Next time I'm decluttering, if I still haven't picked it up, it's going. And the same with the Kylie Cosmetics palette. I'm just going to hang on to it for now, and then if I don't use it in the next, like, I don't know, couple of months. I already got rid of one of these palettes. I think it was the bronze one, so I think I'll just hang on to this one for now. And then we'll declutter if I don't use it. So I'm gonna do the same thing with these Inglot palettes. These are all my single shadows as I did with the other ones, so we're gonna talk about them at a later date. I can't like figure out what way I want to sort these out or what I want to do with them. And some of the shades are lovely, so I would like to like whittle it down to shades that I'm going to use. And I have tons of these palettes in my collection, so that's what I'm going to do in my next video. These are all the palettes I'm keeping, so we can see them all there. There's still kind of a good pile of them. I don't feel like I've completely like whittled it down to next to nothing. And these are all the neutrals that I'm getting rid of. So there's a lot there. And I just have made a little pile here for Jenna because I think she might benefit from some of them. So I'm going to go through which ones kind of are definitely gone off and can't be donated or given to my cousins, and which ones then that I want to, you know, I want to give to them because they're still okay. I love how my phone is under there as well. I feel really good that I've gotten rid of way more than 50% of them. And then at a later date, we're going to tackle all the single eyeshadows because it's just not the time right now. And I need actually a bit of time to take them all out, go through them and see what I have, what I can get rid of and what I'd like to hang on to. So I feel really good about getting rid of all of them. And I feel good that my collection's been whittled down to these because I feel like once I get down to the coloured palettes, I'm going to have like nothing left because I don't want to really keep many. Thank you guys so much for watching my declutter video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved doing it, and I urge you guys to go through your makeup and look at what you have and do you really need it? And if you don't, then maybe it's time for it to get a new home. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my colourful eyeshadow declutter palette video. Jeez Louise, what way did I even say that? I am going to be doing a video decluttering my eyeshadow palettes that are all colourful, so keep an eye out for that. And I will talk to you all in my next video. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye!